In 1470, 23 women were erased from history, not killed, erased. The Ottoman Empire didn't just take their lives, they took their names, their records, their graves. For 5 centuries, no one knew what happened inside Topkapi Palace. Until 2011, when archaeologists found scratches on a wall. 23 lines, 11 complete, 12 fading into nothing, and 4 words in Latin that made them realize some lights refused to die. The year is 1470, St. Catherine's Convent, Thessaly, dawn. Sister Magdalena is 19 years old. She's kneeling in the chapel when she hears a sound that doesn't belong. Not birds, not wind, hoofbeats, hundreds of them. She runs to the window. Her breath stops. The valley below is red, not sunrise. Banners, Ottoman banners rolling through the olive groves like a crimson flood. She sprints down the corridor, her sandals slapping stone. She bursts into the abbess's chamber without knocking. Abbess Eleni the Valley. Eleni is already awake. She's standing at her window, gripping a silver crucifix so tightly her knuckles are white. She's 53. She survived the plague. She survived the fall of Constantinople. She knows what's coming. How many, Eleni asks. I don't know. Hundreds, maybe more. Eleni closes her eyes, opens them. Gather the sisters. The chapel. Now. 5 minutes later, 23 women kneel in a semicircle. The youngest is 17. The oldest, Sister Irene, is 62. Her hands shake as she lights the altar candles. No one speaks. Eleni stands before them. Her voice is steady, but her eyes aren't. They're coming for us. Sister Callista, 41, broad-shouldered, the convent's gardener, clenches her fists. Then we fight. With what? Eleni asks quietly. We have no weapons, no soldiers, no walls thick enough. Then we run. To where every village between here and the coast is already theirs. Silence. Sister Magdalena's voice cracks. Will they kill us? Eleni looks at her, really looks at her. This girl who took her vows only 2 years ago, who still cries sometimes at night when she thinks no one hears. No, Eleni says. They won't kill us. Relief flickers across the younger faces. They'll do something worse. The relief dies. They'll make us disappear. The doors are sealed by sunset. Not broken. Sealed. Ottoman soldiers position themselves outside 12 men in formation, spears grounded, silent as statues. They don't storm the convent. They don't shout demands. They just wait. Inside, the nuns press against the windows. Why aren't they attacking? Magdalena whispers. Sister Irene's voice is bitter. Because they don't need to. They've done this before. Done what? Starved faith out of people. Callista turns from the window. How long can we last without food? Weeks, Irene says. Without water, 3 days, maybe 4. Eleni is sitting in the corner, running her thumb over the crucifix. She hasn't moved in an hour. Magdalena kneels beside her. Abbess, what do we do? Eleni doesn't answer immediately. When she does, her voice is so quiet, Magdalena has to lean in. We pray, and we remember who we are. But if they will offer us conversion. They will promise safety, food, shelter. And when we refuse, they will take us anyway. Then why refuse? Eleni finally looks at her. Because saying no is the only weapon we have left. Day 1, they pray. Day 2, they sing. Day 3. The youngest novice, Sister Thea, 17, pale trembling, collapses during evening prayer. Her lips are cracked. Her tongue is swollen. Callista carries her to a pallet, tries to wet her mouth with a cloth soaked in nothing. There's no water left. She's dying, Callista hisses at Eleni. We have to. Have to what? Eleni snaps. Beg them? Is that what you want? I want her to live. So do I. Eleni's voice breaks. She covers her mouth, steadies herself. So do I. But if we beg now, they'll know we're broken. and broken things are easier to reshape. Callista's jaw tightens. You're asking us to watch her die. I'm asking you to trust me. That night, Sister Thea's breathing slows, then stops. The nuns huddle around her body. No one cries. Crying takes water they don't have. Sister Irene whispers, "Lord, receive this child." A knock at the door. Everyone freezes. The knock comes again, louder. Eleni stands, walks to the door, presses her palm against the wood. "We have nothing to say to you," she calls out. A man's voice answers deep accented Greek. "Then listen." Silence. "You have one more day, then we open the door. You can walk out as converts, or be carried out as corpses. Choose." Footsteps recede. Magdalena looks at Eleni. "What do we do?" Eleni stares at the door. "We bury Thea, and we prepare." "For what?" "For everything." Day 4. Dawn. The doors open. Sunlight floods in like a blade. The nuns shield their eyes. They haven't seen daylight in 96 hours. 12 soldiers enter. Behind them, a man in a dark green caftan, clean-shaven. Scar through his left eyebrow. 40, maybe 45. Osman Bey, Ottoman military administrator. He's conquered 12 Christian villages in 3 years. This should be number 13. Behind him, a thin Greek man in dusty robes. The translator. His name is Demetrios. He looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. Osman Bey surveys the chapel. 22 women, 1 corpse. He nods at Thea's body. "This one died yesterday," Eleni says in perfect Greek. Osman Bey's eyebrows lift. "You speak Greek?" "And Latin." "Educated." He almost smiles. "Good. Then you understand what I'm about to offer." He gestures to Demetrios, who clears his throat. "The Sublime Porte extends mercy. Convert to the true faith. You will be given food-water work in Constantinople. You will live." Silence. Osman Bey waits. Eleni steps forward. Her lips are cracked. Her voice hoarse, but she speaks clearly. "We already serve a king." Demetrios hesitates, glances at Osman Bey. "Translate," Osman orders. Demetrios does. Osman Bey's face doesn't change. He simply nods. Once. "Bring chains." They're bound in iron, wrist to wrist, a human chain of 22 souls. Thea's body is left behind unburied. As they're led outside, Magdalena whispers to Callista, "Where are they taking us?" "Constantinople." "How far?" 7 days, if we survive." They march in single file down the mountain road. Villagers watch from doorways, the same villagers who brought them bread every Sunday. The same children who learned their letters from Sister Irene. No one helps. One old woman makes the sign of the cross as they pass. An Ottoman soldier slaps her. She falls. The column keeps moving. By nightfall, they've covered 12 miles. The nuns collapse in a field. No food. A single water skin passed between them, 2 sips each. Osman Bey sits on his horse watching them. His second in command, a younger officer, rides up beside him. "They're weak, my lord. We'll lose half before we reach the coast." "Then we lose half." The Sultan requested 23. The Sultan will get what survives. Osman Bey's jaw tightens. "Mark the ledger. 22 acquired." The officer hesitates. "My lord, why not just convert them by force? Wouldn't that—" "Forced conversion isn't conversion. It's theater. The Sultan doesn't want actors. He wants symbols. Proof that even the most stubborn faith can be reshaped. And if they can't be..." Osman Bey doesn't answer. He doesn't need to. Day 2 of the march. Sister Irene collapses at noon. She goes down hard face first into the dirt road, the chains jerking everyone behind her. Callista screams, "Stop, she's down!" The soldiers halt. Osman Bey rides forward. Irene is conscious but can't stand. Her legs won't hold her. She's 62 years old, 4 days without food, 2 days marching. Callista drops to her knees beside her. Breathe, sister. Just breathe. Irene's lips move. I'm sorry. Don't. Don't you dare. A soldier unlocks Irene's chains. No! Callista lunges for him, but 2 other soldiers grab her. She just needs rest. Give her an hour. Osman Bey's voice is flat. She's slowing the column. We move. You're leaving her to die. I'm leaving her to God. Isn't that what you want? The soldiers drag Callista forward. The chain tightens. The column moves. Magdalena looks back. Sister Irene is sitting in the dust, her hands folded in her lap. Her lips are moving prayer maybe, or goodbye. Within an hour, she's out of sight. That night, Callista doesn't speak, doesn't eat. She just sits with her back against a tree, staring at nothing. Eleni sits beside her, says nothing, just sits. After a long silence, Callista whispers, "She baptized me 30 years ago. I was 11. My parents were dead. She's the one who... She was..." Her voice breaks. Eleni takes her hand. "She's free now," Eleni says quietly. "They can't take what she believed. They took her life. No, they took her body. Her life, everything she believed, everything she was, that's still here. In us." Callista looks at her. "How do you know?" Eleni squeezes her hand. "Because I'm still angry. And anger means I haven't forgotten." Day 4. 2 more fall. Young novices, 17 and 19. They don't collapse. They simply don't wake up. Dehydration. Exhaustion. Hearts that stopped in the night. The ledger changes, 22 becomes 20. Then 19. Then 18. But something else changes too. The nuns stop crying. Stop praying aloud. Instead, they begin to hum. It starts with Sister Callista, a Byzantine chant, wordless ancient melody carried through generations. She hums it under her breath as they walk. Sister Magdalena picks it up, then another, then 5. By midday, 18 women are humming in unison. The soldiers don't understand it. One of them mutters, "They're mad." But Osman Bey understands. He rides beside the column listening. His face is unreadable. That night, his second-in-command approaches him. "My lord, the humming. Should we stop them?" Osman Bey stares into the fire. "No. But it's defiance, I know." He pauses. "Let them have it. It won't matter in Constantinople." What happens there? Osman Bey's jaw tightens. They disappear. Day 7. The coast. The nuns are chained inside a galley, a warship bound for Constantinople. The hold is dark, airless. 40 other prisoners, Greeks, Armenians, Serbs, all headed for slavery or worse. The 18 nuns huddle in the corner. Their skin is burned. Their wrists are raw, but they're alive. The ship sets sail at dawn. 3 days into the voyage, a storm hits. The hull groans. Water floods the hold. Prisoners scream. Chains rattle. Magdalena grips Callista's hand. "We're going to drown." Callista pulls her close. "If we drown free." But Magdalena doesn't answer. She's humming. A Greek man across the hold, a farmer hand still stained with soil, hears her. He joins in. Then another prisoner. Then 10. The Ottoman guards hear it. One spits through the grate. They've lost their minds. His captain shakes his head slowly. "No, there's something worse." "What?" The captain's voice is quiet, almost awed. "Unbreakable." The ship docks at Constantinople on a gray morning. The city rises like a scar, minarets where crosses once stood. Ottoman banners snapping in the wind. The nuns are marched through the streets in chains. Crowds watch. Some jeer, some spit, most just stare. They're led to Topkapi Palace. Gold, marble, power-made architecture. But before they're taken inside, Osman Bey orders the guards to halt. He approaches Eleni, gestures for the translator. "You," he says, "come with me." Callista lunges forward. "No!" A soldier blocks her. Eleni looks back at her sisters. Her eyes say everything her mouth doesn't. Trust me. Remember. Endure. She's led into a silk tent overlooking the Bosphorus. Inside, cushions, lanterns, the scent of rosewater. Osman Bey sits, studies her. "You're educated," he says. "You speak Greek, Latin. You understand politics." "I understand faith." "Faith is politics." "No, faith is what remains when politics fail." Osman Bey leans forward. "The Sultan doesn't care what you believe. He cares that you submit, publicly. Then he cares about something impossible." Osman Bey's voice hardens. "I can make you disappear, all of you. No record, no grave, no memory. You can erase our names. You can't erase what we believe." "Can't I?" He gestures. A servant brings forward a silk robe, emerald green, embroidered with gold thread. "Put this on. Walk before your sisters. They'll follow. And you'll all live, comfortably, safely." Eleni stares at the robe. For the first time, her hands shake. "If I wear that, you survive." "No." Her voice cracks. "If I wear that, I'm already gone." Osman Bey's face hardens. "Then you've chosen." 4 hours later, Eleni is returned to the others. She's wearing the silk robe. Magdalena gasps. "Abbess, no!" Eleni doesn't speak, doesn't look at them. Her eyes are empty. That night, locked in a cell beneath the palace, the sisters sit in silence. Magdalena is weeping. "She broke. She left us." Callista is staring at Eleni, who sits in the corner motionless. Then Callista sees it. Eleni's hands, moving, slowly, deliberately. Fingers forming shapes, over and over, the sign of the cross, silent, hidden, relentless. "She didn't break," Callista whispers. Magdalena looks up. "What?" "Look at her hands. They all turn." Eleni's lips aren't moving, but her hands are, praying, in silence, in secret, where the Empire can't see. Callista's voice is fierce. She's still fighting, just differently. And in that moment, Magdalena understands something that will carry her through the years ahead. Faith isn't what you say. It's what you refuse to forget. The palace doors close. The world will not see them again. But beneath the marble in the darkness, where empires bury their sins, 18 women begin to scratch crosses into stone. And a light flickers to life. A light the Sultan will never find. The cell has no windows. Just stone, darkness, and the smell of damp earth mixed with something older, centuries of suffering pressed into the walls. 18 women sit in silence. The silk-robed figure of Abbess Eleni hasn't moved in hours. She's a statue in emerald green hands hidden in her lap, eyes fixed on nothing. Sister Magdalena can't stop staring at her. This woman who led them through plague, famine, the fall of empires reduced to this. A puppet in silk. "She's gone," Magdalena whispers to Callista. "Look at her. She's..." "Quiet." Callista's voice is sharp. "Watch her hands." Magdalena looks closer. Eleni's fingers are moving, slowly, deliberately, forming shapes beneath the fabric. The cross, over and over. "She's praying." Callista breathes. She's still praying. A key scrapes in the lock. The door opens. Torchlight floods in. 3 palace guards enter, followed by a man in white robes, clean, perfumed, his beard oiled to a point. He speaks in Turkish. One of the guards translates into broken Greek, "You will be processed, given work assignments. Obey you eat, resist you starve." Simple. Sister Callista stands. "We're not slaves." The man in white doesn't even look at her. He gestures to a guard who strikes Callista across the face with the back of his hand. She goes down hard. Magdalena lunges forward. 2 guards grab her arms. The man in white finally looks at them. His voice is bored. "You're not slaves. You're resources. The Sublime Porte invested in your acquisition. You will now repay that investment." He turns to leave, then pauses. "Oh, the one in silk, she stays here. The Sultan wishes to see her tomorrow." The door slams shut. In the darkness, Callista wipes blood from her mouth. "Resources. That's what we are now." Eleni's voice cuts through the dark, the first words she's spoken in hours. "No, that's what they need us to believe we are." Magdalena's voice trembles. "Abbess, you're wearing their robe." "Yes. You converted." "Did I?" Eleni's eyes open. Even in the darkness, they burn. "I'm wearing fabric, that's all. They can dress me like a doll, but they can't make me forget who I am." Sister Anna, mid-30s, quiet until now, speaks from the corner. "Then why did you put it on?" Eleni turns to her. "Because I needed them to think they won, so they'd stop watching. And when they stop watching..." She holds up her hands. Her wrists are raw from the chains, but her fingers are steady. "We pray where they can't see." Callista's voice is fierce. "You played them. I survived them. There's a difference." Magdalena feels something crack open in her chest. Not despair. Something harder, sharper. Hope disguised as rage. The next morning, guards return. They separate the women into groups. 10 are taken to the palace laundries, 5 to the kitchens. 3, including Magdalena and Callista, are led deep into the palace underbelly down spiral stairs that seem to descend forever. They emerge in a vast underground chamber. Dozens of women work here, Turkish, Greek, Armenian faces, hollow with exhaustion. They're washing linens in massive stone basins, wringing them by hand, hanging them on lines that stretch into the darkness. An Ottoman overseer, a woman surprisingly perhaps 50 face, like carved wood, points at them. "You 3. That basin. You wash until the water runs clear. Then you wash more. You stop when I say stop. Understand?" Magdalena opens her mouth to respond, but Callista squeezes her arm. Hard. "We understand," Callista says. They work. Hours blend into each other. The water is cold. Their hands blister. Their backs scream. Around them, the other women work in silence. No one speaks. No one makes eye contact. During a brief water break, Magdalena whispers to a Greek woman beside her, "How long have you been here?" The woman doesn't look at her. "Don't talk." She hears everything. "Who?" "The overseer, Fatma. She reports everything to the palace scribes. One word about God, about home, about anything, you disappear." Magdalena's blood runs cold. "Disappear where?" The woman finally looks at her. Her eyes are dead. "No one knows. You just stop coming back." That night, returned to their cell, Magdalena collapses against the wall. Her hands are bleeding. Her shoulders feel like they've been pulled from their sockets. Callista sits beside her, says nothing, just sits. After a long silence, Magdalena whispers, "We're going to die here. Maybe." "You don't sound afraid." Callista looks at her. "I am afraid, but fear doesn't change what we have to do. Which is what? Wash linens until we collapse." "No." Callista leans in close. "Survive. Outlast them. And remember every single detail, so if anyone ever asks what happened here, we can tell them the truth." Magdalena's voice cracks. "What if no one ever asks? Then we tell the walls." 3 weeks pass. The routine is brutal. Wake before dawn work until dusk, return to the cell, collapse. The food is thin soup and hard bread. 2 women develop fever, they're taken away. They don't come back. 16 remain. One evening, Magdalena is returning from the laundry when she takes a wrong turn. The palace corridors all look the same, marble gold endless. She finds herself in a section she's never seen. The walls here are older, rougher, Byzantine stonework beneath Ottoman plaster. She hears voices, male, Turkish. She presses herself into an alcove, heart hammering. Two Ottoman officials pass deep in conversation. She catches fragments, the Christian women. Re-education facility. Sultan wants them converted within 6 months. And if they resist, a pause. Then they'll be relocated permanently. The voices fade. Magdalena stands there shaking. Relocated. The word the Greek woman used. Disappeared. That night she tells the others. Sister Anna is the first to speak. 6 months. That's all we have. We'll resist, Callista says, like we've been doing. And then what? Anna's voice rises. They'll kill us. Is that what you want? To die here away from home, from sunlight, from what? Callista snaps. From freedom. We lost that the moment they chained us. The only question now is whether we die as who we are or as who they want us to be. Silence. Sister Maria, 42, who hasn't spoken in weeks, suddenly laughs. It's a broken sound. You think we have a choice? You think any of this matters? She's crying now. We're already dead. We died on that mountain. Everything since then has just been delay. Eleni, still in her silk robe, still silent. Most hours, finally speaks. Maria's right. Everyone turns. We did die on that mountain. The women we were safe, comfortable, certain of tomorrow, those women are gone. Eleni stands. Even in the darkness, her presence fills the cell. But something else survived. Something they can't kill with chains or starvation or silk robes. What? Magdalena whispers. The part of us that refuses to forget. 2 months in. The palace is preparing for a celebration, some Ottoman victory in the west. The entire staff is mobilized. The laundry women work triple shifts. Magdalena's hands are so raw she can barely grip the linens. Beside her, Callista is swaying on her feet, eyes half closed. During a brief moment, when the overseer's back is turned, a young Turkish girl, maybe 14, new to the laundry, leans close to Magdalena. You're one of the nuns, she whispers in Greek. Magdalena freezes. I heard the guards talking. They say you refuse to convert. Magdalena says nothing. The girl's eyes are wide. Is it true you'd rather die than change? Magdalena looks at her. Really looks. This child born into empire, raised to see conversion as mercy. It's not about changing, Magdalena says quietly. It's about remembering. If I forget who I am, then I really am dead. The girl stares at her. But you're suffering. Yes. Doesn't your God care? Magdalena's throat tightens. I don't know, but I care. And if I stop caring, if I give up, then they've won something more valuable than my body. They've won my soul. The overseer's voice cracks like a whip. Back to work. The girl scurries away. But that night, Magdalena finds something tucked into her blanket. A small piece of bread. Fresh. Soft. Hidden beneath it, a tiny wooden cross, crudely carved. Magdalena stares at it until her vision blurs. Someone in this palace, someone young, someone born into the empire saw her suffering and responded not with contempt, but with kindness. She shows it to Callista. Who? Callista whispers. The Turkish girl, in the laundry. Why would she? I don't know, maybe. Magdalena's voice catches. Maybe faith isn't about where you're born. Maybe it's about what you choose when no one's watching. That night, Eleni calls them together. 16 women huddled in the darkness. We need to mark time, Eleni says. The palace wants us to forget days, week, seasons, to exist in eternal present. We can't let that happen. How do we mark time with no sun? Sister Anna asks. Eleni runs her fingers along the stone wall. We carve. Carve what? Everything. Days, names, prayers. We turn these walls into our memory. Callista's voice is urgent. If they find it, they won't. Not if we're careful. The cell is inspected once a week, always the same day. We carve in the corners, in the shadows, places their torches don't reach. With what? We have nothing sharp. Eleni holds up a small shard stone broken from the floor, sharpened against the wall over weeks. We have this, and we have time. That night, Eleni makes the first mark, a cross, small, hidden in the darkest corner near the floor. Beneath it, she scratches 4 words in Latin: lux in tenebris lucet. The light shines in the darkness. One by one, the others add their marks, names, dates, fragments of psalms. Magdalena carves a small bird. She doesn't know why. It just feels right. A creature with wings in a place with no sky. Beneath it, she writes in Greek, "We endure." 3 months in. Sister Maria doesn't wake up one morning. No sickness, no injury, just exhaustion. Her body finally gave up. The guards take her away. 15 remain. That evening, Callista breaks. She's standing at the washing basin when she suddenly screams a raw, primal sound and hurls the wet linens against the wall. 3 months, she shouts. 3 months of this hell. For what? So we can die slowly instead of quickly. The overseer rushes over, hand raised to strike, but Magdalena steps between them. Please, Magdalena says quickly. She's grieving. We lost someone today. Just give her a moment. The overseer's hand hovers, then lowers. 1 moment, then back to work. In the cell that night, Callista sits with her head in her hands. I'm breaking, she whispers. I can feel it, like ice cracking. Eleni kneels beside her. Then crack. Break if you need to, but don't shatter. What's the difference? Breaking can be repaired. Shattering is permanent. Callista looks up. Tears streak her face. How do you stay whole? Eleni takes her hand, presses it against the wall, against the carved cross. I don't stay whole, I stay faithful. To this, to us, to the truth that we're still here. 4 months in, Magdalena is scrubbing floors in an upper corridor when she overhears 2 Ottoman officials talking. The Christian women in the lower cells, her hands still. 6 months are nearly up. Any conversions? None. All 16 refuse. Then the order stands. After the winter solstice, they'll be transferred. To where? A long pause. Then, the eastern provinces, labor camps. They won't survive a year. Magdalena's breath stops. That night she tells the others. Silence. Then Sister Anna speaks, her voice hollow. So we have 2 months. Then we're gone. No, Eleni's voice is steel. Then we have 2 months to make sure we're remembered. How? Magdalena asks. Eleni looks at the wall, at their carvings, growing daily, a constellation of faith in the darkness. We finish the wall, every name, every prayer, every moment we've lived here. So when they take us, if they take us, something remains. Proof we existed, proof we refused. Callista's voice is thick with emotion. They'll erase it, plaster over it, destroy it. Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe centuries from now, someone will find it, and they'll know. Know what? Eleni's eyes blaze in the torchlight. That even in hell, some lights refuse to die. The next night, they carve faster, deeper. 23 lines on the wall, 1 for each woman who started this journey. 11 are complete. 12 fade into nothing, the ones who didn't survive. Beneath them all, Magdalena adds 1 more line in Latin, Memoria Eterna, eternal memory. Outside, somewhere in the palace, above, music plays. Laughter echoes. The empire celebrates another victory. But below in the darkness, 16 women scratch truth into stone and prepare for whatever comes next. The empire can take their bodies, but it will never own their silence. 5 months, 23 days. Magdalena counts by scratching lines into the wall every night. Her fingers are calloused, now numb to the stone's bite. The wall has become their calendar, their witness, their defiance carved into permanence. But tonight, something's different. The cell door opens earlier than usual. No warning knock. Just iron scraping stone and torchlight flooding in like an accusation. 6 guards. Full armor. Not the usual rotation. Behind them, the man in white robes from months ago. His beard is longer now, more ornate. He surveys the 16 women with the expression of someone inspecting livestock. "Stand," he orders in Turkish. The translator repeats it in Greek. They stand. Slowly. Bodies stiff from cold and labor. The man in white nods to a guard, who unrolls a scroll. He reads names. Ottoman versions of their Christian names, mangled pronunciations that sound like insults. Eleni of Thessaly. Callista of Larissa. Magdalena of... "We know our names," Callista interrupts. "What do you want?" The translator hesitates. The man in white's eyes narrow. "Tomorrow," he says through the translator, "you will be presented to the Sultan's council. You will demonstrate your progress." Progress toward what? Eleni asks quietly. Toward accepting the truth of Islam. Toward gratitude for the Sultan's mercy. He pauses. 6 have already converted in the women's quarters above. They now serve honorably in the palace. You 16 are the last holdouts. Sister Anna's voice cracks. 6 who? That's not your concern. What is your concern is this: tomorrow you will recite the Shahada before the council. Those who comply will be given better quarters, better food, and meaningful work. Those who refuse. He doesn't finish. He doesn't need to. The door slams shut. In the darkness, someone is crying. Magdalena thinks it's Sister Sophia, the quietest of them, who hasn't spoken in weeks. 6 converted, Anna whispers. 6 of us broke. We don't know they were from our group, Callista says, but her voice lacks conviction. Who else would it be? Anna's voice rises. We're the ones they're targeting. The nuns, the symbols, and 6 of us gave up. Or 6 of them decided to survive, Eleni says softly. Everyone turns to her. I'm not defending it, Eleni continues. But I understand it. 5 months in hell, watching friends die, bodies breaking, hope fading. I understand why someone would say those words just to make it stop. But you haven't, Magdalena says. None of us have. Not yet. Eleni looks at each of them. But tomorrow we'll be tested, really tested, not in private, in front of the council, with consequences. Then we refuse, Callista says, like we've always refused. And if they execute us? Silence. Sister Anna speaks, her voice small. Would that be so bad? At least it would end. Callista grabs her shoulders. Don't say that. Why not? What are we fighting for anymore? To wash linens in the dark, to carve words no one will ever read, to die slowly instead of quickly. We're fighting, Eleni says, standing. Because the moment we stop, they've won. Not our bodies, they already have those. They've won our souls. And I will not give them that. Even if it kills us. Especially if it kills us. That night, no one sleeps. They sit together in the darkness, 16 women facing the weight of tomorrow. Magdalena finds herself beside the wall, running her fingers over the carvings. 23 lines, 11 complete, 12 fading. She adds a new mark, small, hidden in a crack, a single word in Greek Avrio, tomorrow. The council chamber is vast, high ceilings, marble columns, light streaming through latticed windows, the first sunlight Magdalena has seen in months. It burns her eyes. The 16 women are lined up in the center, chains removed but surrounded by guards. Across from them, elevated on a dais, sit 7 men in elaborate robes. Ottoman officials, religious scholars. One chair slightly higher remains empty, the Sultan's representative, presumably. The man in white stands beside them. He speaks in Turkish. A translator echoes in Greek. These women were acquired 5 months ago from the Thessaly region. They have received instruction in the true faith. They have been shown mercy. Today they will demonstrate their gratitude. One of the council members, elderly, white-bearded, eyes sharp as knives, leans forward. Have any converted? 6 others from the same acquisition group have recited the Shahada. These 16 have not. Murmurs ripple through the council. The elderly man's voice is cold. 5 months of instruction, and they remain obstinate. They claim religious conviction, my lord. Conviction. The old man's lip curls. Or arrogance. Very well. Let us test this conviction. He gestures to the man in white. Bring forward the first. A guard pushes Sister Anna forward. She stumbles, catches herself. Her face is pale, but her jaw is set. The elderly council member speaks directly to her in Greek. His accent is flawless. Your name was Anna. You are now Aisha. You will recite the Shahada. There is no God but God, and Muhammad is his messenger. Do you understand? Anna's voice trembles. I understand. Then recite. Silence. Anna's lips move, but no sound comes. Recite, the old man repeats. Anna looks back at the others. At Eleni. At Magdalena. Her eyes are desperate, pleading. Magdalena wants to scream, wants to tell her it's okay, that survival isn't betrayal. But her throat is closed. Anna turns back to the council. Tears streak her face. I am a Christian. I cannot. You can. You simply choose not to. Very well. He nods to the guards. Take her to the eastern wing. Permanent assignment. 2 guards seize Anna. She doesn't resist. Just looks back one more time as they drag her away. The door closes behind her with a sound like a tomb ceiling. The old man's gaze shifts to the next woman. You. Step forward. Sister Sophia. Silent for weeks now, trembling violently. She can barely stand. Your name is now Zinep. Recite the Shahada. Sophia's mouth opens, closes, opens again. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she speaks. Not in Arabic, in Latin. Pater noster, qui es in caelis. Our Father who art in heaven. The old man's face darkens. That is not what I asked for. Sophia continues praying, louder now. Sanctificetur nomen tuum. Hallowed be thy name. Silence her. A guard strikes her across the face. She falls, keeps praying. Blood on her lips, voice rising. Adveniat regnum tuum. Thy kingdom come. The elderly council member stands. His voice is ice. Enough. Eastern wing. Permanent. They drag Sophia away. She's still praying as the door closes. 11 of them remain standing in the chamber. The old man surveys them. Clearly instruction has failed. You are too old, too entrenched in error. We will try a different approach. He gestures to the man in white. The youngest. Bring her forward. Magdalena's blood turns to ice. Guards push her forward. She's 19 years old. She's survived plague march, starvation 5 months in darkness. But standing here in the light before these men who see her as nothing more than a problem to solve, she's never felt more powerless. The old man studies her. You're young. Educated, I'm told. You have life ahead of you. Why throw it away for a dead faith? Magdalena's voice is steadier than she expects. It's not dead if I'm still living it. Are you living? He gestures around the chamber. Or merely existing in defiance? There's a difference, child. I know. Then choose life. Recite the words. Serve the Sultan. In 5 years, you'll forget you were ever anything else. Something in Magdalena cracks. Not her faith. Something deeper. The fear that he might be right. I'll remember, she whispers. You think so? Let me tell you what happens to memory in this palace. It fades. Like morning mist. You'll wake up one day and realize you can't recall your mother's face, your village's name, the prayers you once knew by heart. The empire is patient. It doesn't break you. It simply wears you down to nothing. Magdalena looks at him. Really looks. She sees something in his eyes, not cruelty, weariness. He's done this before, many times, and he's always right, but not today. Then I'll carve it into stone, Magdalena says. So even when I forget, the truth remains. The old man's expression flickers, just for a moment, surprise, maybe even respect. Then it hardens again. Eastern wing, permanent. Guards move toward her. She doesn't resist. She looks back at Callista, at Eleni, at the 9 others still standing. Eleni's lips move silently. 3 words Magdalena has to read rather than hear. You did well. The door closes. Magdalena is taken down corridors she's never seen. Deeper, darker. The air grows colder, damper. They descend stairs that spiral into earth. Finally, they reach a massive iron door. The guard unlocks it, shoves her inside. The door slams. A lock turns. Footsteps recede. Magdalena stands in total darkness. Not the darkness of their cell that had cracks of light sounds from above. This is absolute. Soundless. Like being buried alive. Hello, she whispers. A voice answers from the darkness. Weak, hoarse, but familiar. Magdalena. Sister Anna. Here. To your right. Magdalena moves carefully, hands outstretched until she touches warm skin. Anna grabs her hand. Where are we? Magdalena asks. I don't know. They threw me in here 10 minutes ago. I heard Sophia arrive a few minutes before you. And Anna's voice drops. There are others. I can hear breathing. Lots of breathing. Who? A different voice answers. Older, rasping, speaking Greek with a Macedonian accent. We are the forgotten. Magdalena's heart hammers. Who are you? We are the ones who said no. Some of us have been here for years, some for months. All of us refused something the empire wanted, and so we were removed. How many? A pause. Then 43, now 46 with you 3. 43 women, buried alive beneath the palace, forgotten by the world above. How do you survive? Magdalena whispers. We don't. We endure. Back in the council chamber, 9 nuns remain. The elderly official is losing patience. He's tested 5 more women. All refused. All were taken to the eastern wing. Only 4 stand in the chamber now, Eleni, Callista, and 2 others. The old man stands. This is pointless. Take them all. Let them rot with the others. But before the guards move, the tall door behind the dais opens. Everyone turns. A man enters. Mid-40s, immaculate silk robes, a scar cutting through his left eyebrow. Osman Bey. The council members immediately bow. The man in white pales. Osman Bey surveys the scene. His eyes land on Eleni. Something flickers in his face, recognition, and maybe something else. Regret. He speaks in Turkish. The translator scrambles to keep up. These are the women from Thessaly. I acquired them. The elderly council member nods. Yes, my lord. They have proven difficult. Difficult, Osman Bey repeats. He walks down from the dais, approaches Eleni, stands directly in front of her. 5 months ago, I offered you survival. You refused. I offered you comfort. You refused. Now they offer you the same, and still you refuse. His voice drops. Why? Eleni meets his eyes. Because I was someone before you came, and I refuse to forget her. Osman Bey stares at her for a long moment, then quietly, even if remembering kills you, especially then. Silence fills the chamber. Finally, Osman Bey turns to the council. These women will not convert. Not in 5 months. Not in 5 years. You're wasting resources trying. The elderly official's voice is sharp. Then what do you suggest, my lord? The labor camps. Eastern Anatolia. They need workers for the mines. These women are strong, educated, stubborn. They'll last longer than most. And when they die, Osman Bey's jaw tightens. Then they die knowing they never betrayed themselves, which is more than most of us can say. The council members exchange glances. Finally, the elderly one nods. Very well. Prepare them for transfer. They leave at dawn. The guards move forward, but Osman Bey raises a hand. Wait. He turns to Eleni. The silk robe. You've worn it for 5 months. Has it changed anything? Eleni looks down at the emerald fabric, then back at him. Slowly, she begins to remove it. The council gasps. Guards reach for weapons, but beneath the silk, Eleni is wearing her original habit. Torn, filthy, but unmistakably a nun's garment. She never took it off, just covered it. She lets the silk fall to the floor. No, she says quietly. It changed nothing. Osman Bey's face is unreadable. Then so quietly only Eleni can hear. I almost admire you. Almost. If I fully admired you, I'd have to admit what we're doing is wrong, and I can't afford that. He turns and walks out. The guards seize the 4 remaining nuns, drag them toward the eastern wing, toward the iron door, toward the darkness where 43 women wait. As Eleni is pushed through the door, she hears Callista's voice behind her. We're still standing. And Eleni, despite everything, smiles. Yes, we are. The door closes, the lock turns, and in the absolute darkness, 50 women breathe together, forgotten by Empire, but not by each other. The Empire can take everything, except the choice to remember who we were before they arrived. Darkness has a sound. Magdalena discovers this in the first hour. It's not silence. Silence would be mercy. It's breathing. 50 women breathing in rhythm, creating a whisper that fills the void like a living thing. Her eyes adjust slowly. Not to light, there is none, but to shapes. Movement. The faint heat signatures of bodies pressed against cold stone. How long have you been here? Magdalena asks the darkness. The Macedonian woman's voice answers. I stopped counting after 3 years. 3 years. Buried alive for 3 years. What's your name? Magdalena whispers. A long pause. Then, I don't remember. The words hit like a physical blow. You forgot your own name. We all do eventually. The darkness takes it. First your name, then your mother's face, then the sound of church bells, then the prayers, until all that's left is this. No. Callista's voice cuts through the dark. That's not true. We have our names. I'm Callista. This is Eleni, Magdalena, Anna, Sophia. We remember. For now, the Macedonian woman says. Give it time. Sister Anna's voice trembles. How do we survive this? You don't survive. You endure. There's a difference. Eleni speaks for the first time since the door closed. Her voice is steady, commanding even in absolute darkness. Listen to me, all of you, every woman in this room. We have one choice left. Not whether to live or die, they've already decided that for us. Our choice is whether to disappear completely or to leave something behind. Proof we existed. Proof we mattered. How? Someone asks from the far corner. Young voice. Desperate. We carve. Like we did before. But not just marks. Everything. Names, stories, prayers. Every memory we can hold on to. We turn these walls into a testament. They'll destroy it, the Macedonian woman says. Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe 500 years from now, someone will dig through the rubble and find what we leave behind. And they'll know. We were here. We refused. We remembered. Silence. Then softly a different voice. Eastern European accent. I'm Elena, from Bulgaria. I've been here 18 months. I want to remember my name. Then say it, Eleni commands. Say it until your throat is raw. Say it until the darkness knows it. Elena, the woman whispers, then louder. Elena, Elena, Elena. Others join, voices rising from every corner of the darkness. Anastasia, from Crete. Maria, from Cyprus. Theodora, from Constantinople itself. Name after name. 50 women reclaiming their identities in the only place the empire can't reach, inside the dark, where no one is watching. Magdalena feels something break open in her chest. Not despair, something fiercer. She moves to the nearest wall, runs her fingers over the stone, finds a rough edge, breaks off a shard, begins to scratch. In the absolute darkness, she carves blind. A cross. Then beneath it, in Greek, we are still here. Days blend together. Without light, time becomes fluid. They sleep when exhausted. Wake when restless. Eat when guards shove moldy bread through a slot in the door once a day, maybe, or once every 2 days. It's impossible to tell, but they carve. Constantly. Eleni organizes them. She assigns sections of wall to different women. She creates a pattern, a structure, so their marks aren't just random scratches, but a coherent record. Upper left wall, she instructs. Names. Every woman here. Your name, your home, the year you were taken. Lower right wall, Callista adds. Prayers. Everything we remember. Psalms, hymns, liturgy. Back wall, Magdalena suggests. Stories. What happened? How we got here. The truth. They work by touch. Fingers bleeding. Stone shards wearing down to nothing. They replace them with pieces of broken bread hardened until sharp. With fingernails when nothing else remains. The carvings grow. Spread. Cover entire sections of wall. One night or day, impossible to know, Sister Anna breaks down. She's sitting against the wall, holding her knees, rocking. I can't see it. She sobs. We're carving, and I can't even see what we're making. What if it's gibberish? What if in the light it's just meaningless scratches? Callista crawls to her, finds her hand. Then it's gibberish that proves we tried. That's more than most people leave behind. But no one will ever see it. You don't know that. Yes, I do. We're going to die here, in this hole, forgotten. And these walls will crumble and... Anna. Eleni's voice cuts through the dark. Come here. Anna crawls toward the voice. Eleni guides her hand to the wall, to a specific section of carvings. Feel this. Anna's fingers trace the marks, letters, words, sentences. This is your name, Eleni says. Anna of Larissa, born 1433, taken 1470, refused conversion 1471, carved by your own hand. Even if no one ever reads it, it exists. You exist. That matters. Anna is silent for a long moment. Then, does existing matter if no one knows? Yes, Eleni says simply. Because we know, and knowing is the last thing they can't take from us. 3 months pass in the darkness, or maybe 3 weeks, or 3 years. Time loses meaning. 4 women die. Illness, starvation. One simply stops breathing in her sleep. Each time the survivors gather around the body, they pray in whispers. Then they add the woman's name to the wall with the date of death estimated, guessed but recorded. The guards take the bodies away. No ceremony, no acknowledgement, just removal. The 46 become 42. One day Magdalena thinks it's day. The door opens. Not for food, for something else. A guard enters with a torch. The light is blinding after months of darkness. Women shield their eyes, cry out. Behind the guard, the man in white robes. He surveys the room with disgust. The smell, he mutters in Turkish. The translator speaks in Greek. 5 of you are being transferred. Work assignment. Surface level. You will serve in the palace kitchens. Hope flickers. Kitchen work means light, air, life. Who? Someone asks. The man in white points randomly. You, and you. He doesn't use names, just points, like selecting livestock. One of the women chosen is Sister Sophia. She's been silent for months, broken by the darkness, but when the guard tries to take her arm, she pulls away. No, she whispers. The man in white frowns. No, I'm not leaving them. Sophia looks back at the others, at Magdalena, Eleni, Callista. We stay together. You're being offered better conditions, food, light. Why refuse? Because they're my sisters, and I won't abandon them for comfort. The man in white stares at her, then laughs. It's a cold sound. Your loyalty is wasted. They'll die here. But you, he gestures to the guard, take her anyway. Sophia fights, screams, claws at the doorframe as they drag her out. Don't forget, she shouts back into the darkness. Don't forget what we... The door slams. The lock turns. Silence. Then Callista's voice, thick with emotion. She chose us over freedom. No, Eleni says quietly. She chose faith over survival. There's a difference. But that night, Magdalena adds a new carving to the wall. A name. Sister Sophia. And beneath it, she remembered. 6 months in the darkness. Or 7. Or 8. Magdalena has stopped trying to count. Her body is skeletal. Her hair, she can feel it has grown long matted. Her teeth are loose from malnutrition. But her hands still work, and she still carves. One night she's working on a particularly difficult section, trying to scratch the Lord's Prayer into stone when her shard breaks. The sharp edge she's been using for weeks snaps clean off. She sits back defeated. Her fingers are bleeding again. She can taste copper in her mouth. I can't do this anymore, she whispers. Yes, you can, Callista says from somewhere to her left. No, I'm done. I'm forgetting things, Callista. I tried to remember my mother's face yesterday, and I couldn't. I couldn't see her, just darkness, where her face should be. Silence. Then Callista crawls closer, finds Magdalena's hand. Then carve her name, before you forget that too. What good will that do? It's just a name. No, it's proof she existed, and proof you loved her enough to remember. Callista presses a new shard into Magdalena's palm. Carve, before the darkness takes everything. Magdalena's hand trembles, but she turns to the wall, finds a clear space, and slowly, carefully scratches 3 letters in Greek. Eleni, Helen, her mother's name. The moment she finishes, something breaks inside her, not shattering, releasing, and she begins to cry deep, wrenching sobs that echo through the darkness. Callista holds her, says nothing, just holds. And around them, other women begin to carve their mothers' names, their fathers, their siblings. Everyone they're afraid of forgetting. The wall becomes a memorial, not just to themselves, but to everyone they loved. 1 year. Eleni is certain now. They've been in the darkness for a full year. 38 women remain. But something has changed. The carvings have covered every accessible surface. The walls are no longer stone, they're testimony. Layer upon layer of names, prayers, dates, stories. And in the center of the back wall, Eleni has carved something different. Not a prayer, not a name. 4 words in Latin: lux in tenebris lucet. The light shines in the darkness. Beneath it, she adds one more line. Et tenebrae eam non comprehenderunt, and the darkness has not overcome it. She's finishing the final letter when she hears something. Not from inside the room, from beyond the door. Voices, arguing, Turkish. The door opens, a different guard, younger, nervous. Behind him, a face Magdalena never thought she'd see again. Osman Bey. He steps into the room, holds his torch high, and for the first time sees what they've created. The walls, covered floor to ceiling, thousands of marks, names, crosses, prayers, stories scratched into stone with nothing but broken bread and bleeding fingers. Osman Bey stands frozen, His torch illuminates section after section of carvings. His face is unreadable. Finally, he speaks, in Greek, directly to Eleni. How long? 12 months, maybe 13. And you've been carving this entire time? Yes. Why? Eleni meets his eyes. Even in the torchlight, even skeletal and filthy, her gaze is steady. Because you can bury us, but you can't make us disappear. Osman Bey stares at her, then at the walls, then back at her. The Sultan ordered your execution, you and all the others. The order comes down tomorrow. The women don't gasp, don't cry. They've been expecting this. But I'm not here for that, Osman Bey continues. I'm here to offer you one final choice. We've made our choice, Callista says. Not this one. He looks directly at Eleni. Convert tonight, all of you. Recite the Shahada, and I will personally guarantee your transfer to better conditions. Not freedom, but life. Sunlight. Food. Years instead of days. And if we refuse, Eleni asks, then tomorrow you die. All of you. In this room. And these walls. He gestures to the carvings. Will be plastered over. Erased. Forgotten. Magdalena's heart stops. All of it. Everything they've carved. Everything they've bled for. Gone. Eleni is silent for a long moment. Then, how long do we have to decide? Until dawn. Osman Bey leaves. The door closes. The darkness returns. In the silence that follows, no one speaks. Not for minutes. Not for an hour. Finally, Sister Anna whispers what everyone is thinking. If we refuse, it's all for nothing. The carvings, the resistance, everything. No, Callista says. If we refuse, it means something. It means we chose truth over survival. But no one will ever see it. We'll see it, Eleni says. In the moment before we die, we'll know. We chose ourselves over their empire. And that knowledge that matters more than their monuments or their history books, because it's ours. And they can't take it. Magdalena finds herself crawling to the wall, to her mother's name, to the bird she carved months ago, to the 23 lines, 11 complete, 12 fading. She adds one more mark, just below the Latin phrase. 2 words in Greek, epileguma emas. We choose us. She turns to the others. They can erase the walls, but they can't erase what these walls taught us, that we existed, that we mattered, that we loved enough to remember. Even if no one ever finds them, Anna asks. Especially then. Dawn comes, or what they assume is dawn. The door opens. Osman Bey enters, alone this time. No guards, no translator. He looks at Eleni. She stands, steady despite her skeletal frame. Your answer, he asks in Greek. Eleni glances back at the 38 women standing behind her. Women who have lost everything but haven't lost themselves. She turns to Osman Bey and smiles. We already gave you our answer, 12 months ago. Nothing has changed. Osman Bey's jaw tightens. For just a moment, something flickers in his eyes. Not anger, sadness. Then I'm sorry, he says quietly. I truly am. He turns to leave, pauses at the door. For what it's worth, I've conquered 12 Christian communities, seen hundreds convert, thousands submit, but I've never seen anything like this. He gestures to the walls. 38 women in darkness carving prayers no one will read. It's the most pointless act of defiance I've ever witnessed. No, Eleni says softly. It's the most human. Osman Bey looks at her for a long moment, then nods once, and leaves. The door closes. The lock turns, and in the darkness, 38 women stand together, waiting for whatever comes next. But they're not afraid anymore, because they know something the Empire doesn't. The greatest rebellion isn't violence. It's refusing to forget who you were before they tried to erase you. The hours after Osman Bey leaves feel different. Not heavier, lighter somehow. as if knowing the end is coming has lifted a weight none of them realized they were carrying. 38 women sit together in the darkness. Some pray, some cry quietly, some simply breathe. Magdalena finds herself beside Eleni. She takes the abbess's hand bones beneath paper-thin skin. "Are you afraid?" Magdalena whispers. Eleni is quiet for a long time. Then, yes, but not of dying. Then what? That it will hurt, not the death itself the moment before. When I realize I'm about to lose everything, the world, memory, all of this. She gestures to the invisible walls covered in their carvings. I'm afraid that in that final second I'll regret refusing, that I'll wish I'd just said the words and lived. Would you regret it? Eleni squeezes her hand. Ask me tomorrow, if I'm still conscious when they come. Callista crawls over to them. We should pray, together, one last time. They gather in a circle. 38 women, hands joined in darkness. Eleni begins in Latin. Pater noster qui es in caelis. Others join. Some in Latin, some in Greek, some in languages Magdalena doesn't recognize: Armenian, Serbian, Bulgarian. Different words, same prayer. And as they pray, something extraordinary happens. Women who haven't spoken in months find their voices. Women who claimed they'd forgotten their prayers remember every word. The darkness fills with sound, not just prayer, but reclamation, taking back what the empire tried to steal. When they finish, Sister Anna speaks. Her voice is steady now, all trembling gone. I want to thank you, all of you, for helping me remember who I was, who I still am. You don't need to thank us, Callista says. Yes, I do, because without you, I would have forgotten, and forgetting would have been worse than dying. One by one, others speak, sharing names of loved ones, villages they came from, memories they've been clinging to. The Macedonian woman, the one who claimed she'd forgotten her name, suddenly speaks. Anastasia, she says, voice cracking. My name is Anastasia, from Thessaloniki, and I remember everything. The women weep, not in sorrow, in victory. Hours pass, maybe 4, maybe 10. Then footsteps in the corridor outside. The women fall silent. This is it. But when the door opens, it's not guards. It's a single figure, female, holding a small oil lamp. The light is blinding. Women cover their eyes, cry out. The figure steps inside. As Magdalena's vision adjusts, she sees it's the young Turkish girl from the laundry, the one who gave her bread and a wooden cross months ago. What are you? Magdalena starts. Quiet, the girl hisses in Greek. I don't have much time. She moves to the wall, holds the lamp close. And for the first time, the women see their work in light. The walls are covered, completely covered. Thousands of carvings, names, crosses, prayers, dates, stories, every inch of stone transformed into testimony. The Turkish girl's hand trembles as she traces the marks. Tears stream down her face. I heard the guards talking, she whispers. They're coming at dawn to end this. But first they're going to plaster these walls, bury everything you've written. We know, Eleni says quietly, but you can't let them erase this. This is proof. Proof that you existed. Proof that... The girl's voice breaks. Proof that faith is stronger than empires. She reaches into her robe, pulls out a small leather journal, pages bound with string. I'm going to copy it, as much as I can, in the time I have. Callista grabs her arm. They'll kill you if they find you doing this. I know. Then why? The girl looks at her. She can't be older than 15. Because someone has to remember, and if you all die and these walls are covered, then it's like you never existed. And that's not right. It's not... She can't finish. She's sobbing now. Eleni moves to her, takes the girl's face in her skeletal hands. What's your name, child? Aisha. Your real name. The girl hesitates, then whispers, Ekaterini. My parents were Greek. They converted when I was 6. I barely remember them. But I remember my mother singing Byzantine hymns, and when I heard you humming that day in the laundry. She looks at Magdalena. I remembered. For the first time in 9 years, I remembered what it felt like to believe in something the Empire didn't give me permission to believe in. Magdalena pulls her close, holds her. Then copy everything, Magdalena whispers. Every word, every name. And when we're gone, you keep it safe. Hide it. And someday when the Empire isn't watching, you tell someone. Anyone. You tell them we were here. Ekaterini nods. She opens the journal. Begins copying by lamplight. She works frantically. Line after line. Name after name. Her hand moves so fast, the pen blurs. 15 minutes pass. Then footsteps again. Heavy. Multiple. They're coming. Ekaterini gasps. I have to go. Eleni commands. Now. Ekaterini clutches the journal to her chest. She looks at each woman one last time, then runs. The door closes behind her just as heavy boots reach the corridor. The iron door opens. 6 guards. Behind them, the man in white robes, and behind him, Osman Bey. The man in white speaks in Turkish. The translator isn't present, but Osman Bey translates himself. His voice is flat. The Sultan's justice is swift and merciful. You have refused the gift of true faith. Therefore, you are sentenced to execution. The method starvation in sealed confinement. You will be left here. The door will be sealed. No food, no water. May God the true God have mercy on your souls. No one speaks. The women simply stand together, united. The man in white turns to leave, but Osman Bey remains. He looks at Eleni. Do you have final words? Eleni steps forward. Even skeletal, even dying, she moves with dignity. Tell your Sultan something for me. What? He rules an empire that spans 3 continents. He commands armies that conquer kingdoms. He builds monuments that touch the sky. She pauses. But 38 women in a dark room just defeated him, and he'll never even know it. Osman Bey's jaw tightens. You defeated nothing. You're about to die. Forgotten. No. Eleni gestures to the walls. We're about to become immortal. Because truth carved in stone outlasts empires built on sand. For a long moment, Osman Bey stares at her. Then so quietly only she can hear. I hope you're right. Because if you are, then maybe someday someone will carve my name on a wall too. And remember, I had a choice, and I made the wrong one. He turns, walks out. The guards follow. The door closes. But this time they hear something different. Not just a lock turning, hammering, metal on metal. They're sealing it. Permanently. Inside, the 38 women stand in absolute darkness once more. How long do we have? Someone asks. 3 days without water, Sister Anna says. Maybe 4. Then we have 3 days to finish the work, Eleni says. Finish what the walls are complete. No, we need to add one more thing. The ending. So whoever finds this someday knows how it ends. They work through the night. By touch. By memory. By sheer will. On the back wall, beneath the Latin phrase, they add new lines. Different women carving different sentences. A collective testimony. We are 38 women. We refuse to forget. The Empire tried to erase us. We carved ourselves into stone. If you are reading this, we won. Magdalena adds the final line, her hands shaking, her lips cracked from thirst. Remember us. We remembered you. She doesn't understand why she writes that last part. But it feels true. They're carving for people they'll never meet, people centuries away, remembering them in advance. Day 2, or what they think is day 2. The thirst is unbearable. Magdalena's tongue is swollen. Her thoughts are fragmenting. But the women still pray, still sing, quietly now, voices weak. Someone asks, "Do you think anyone will ever find it?" "Yes," Eleni says, though her voice is barely a whisper. Someone always finds the truth, eventually. Day 3. 4 women have stopped breathing, just slipped away in the night. The others are too weak to move their bodies. They simply lie beside them. Magdalena is fading. She knows it. Her heartbeat is irregular. Her vision, even in the darkness, is blurring. She crawls to the wall one last time, finds her mother's name, traces it with her fingertips. "I didn't forget," she whispers. "Mama, I didn't forget." Callista's voice comes from somewhere nearby. "Magdalena, I'm here. Are you glad we did this?" Magdalena thinks. Really thinks. "Yes. Even though it kills me. Yes." "Why?" "Because I'm dying as myself, not as who they wanted me to be. And that matters." Eleni's voice is so faint now it's barely audible. "Everyone, listen. Final prayer. Together." The women who are still conscious join hands. Some can barely lift their arms. Eleni begins. "Lux in tenebris lucet." Others join. Voices breaking, fading. "Et tenebrae eam non comprehenderunt." The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. One by one, the voices fade. 5 centuries pass. The Ottoman Empire rises, falls, crumbles into history. Topkapi Palace becomes a museum. Tourists walk marble corridors where sultans once ruled. They photograph golden thrones and jeweled daggers. They marvel at conquest turned artifact. But beneath their feet, sealed behind plaster and forgotten architectural changes, a room remains. In 2011, during routine structural surveys, ground-penetrating radar detects an anomaly, a void, a space that shouldn't exist. It takes archaeologists 3 months to find the entrance. When they do, they're confused. The door is sealed from the outside, welded shut with Ottoman-era metalwork. Storage room probably, one archaeologist suggests, forgotten centuries ago. They cut through the metal, open the door. The smell hits them first, ancient, stale, death preserved by isolation. They shine flashlights inside. The chamber is small, maybe 15 by 20 feet, and covering every surface, every wall, floor to ceiling, are carvings, thousands of them. The lead archaeologist, Dr. Leyla Demirci, steps inside. Her flashlight sweeps across the walls. Names, crosses, prayers, dates, stories carved in Greek, Latin, Armenian. Her hand trembles as she reads aloud. Anastasia of Thessaloniki, Maria of Cyprus, Theodora of Constantinople. Her voice cracks. These are names, women's names. Her assistant points to another section. Look, there's a count, 23 lines, 11 complete, 12 fading. Dr. Demirci moves deeper into the room, finds the back wall. The Latin phrase illuminated by her flashlight, lux in tenebris lucet, et tenebrae eam non comprehenderunt. Beneath it, we are 38 women. We refuse to forget. She sits down hard, overwhelmed. They were prisoners, she whispers. Christian prisoners. And they carved their entire history into these walls. It takes 2 years to document everything. Every mark, every name, every prayer. They find Magdalena's bird, Eleni's Latin phrases, Callista's defiant declarations, the Macedonian woman's reclaimed name. They find dates spanning from 1470 to 1472, a 2-year imprisonment, and evidence that at least 38 women died in this room. But they also find something else. In a forgotten archive in Istanbul, a researcher discovers a leather journal. Pages yellowed, ink faded, but legible. It's dated 1472, written in Ottoman Turkish. The account of a palace servant girl named Ekaterini. In it, she copied everything she could from the walls before the women were sealed inside. Names, prayers, stories, and her own testimony. They asked me why I risked my life to copy words that would die with them. I told them because faith is not about power, it's about memory. And if we forget them, we become the empire that erased them. I will not be that person, even if it costs me everything. Ekaterini survived. She hid the journal, and centuries later, her memory preserved what the empire tried to destroy. The discovery makes international news. The Sisters of Topkapi, they're called. Documentaries are made, books written. The chamber becomes a memorial site. People from around the world visit. They stand in the small room, read the names carved into stone, and they weep. Because 5 centuries later, 38 women who were meant to disappear have become immortal. In 2015, a memorial is erected outside Topkapi Palace, black marble. 38 names etched in gold, and beneath them the phrase from the wall, Lux in tenebris lucet. At the dedication ceremony, Dr. Demirji speaks. These women had everything taken from them, freedom, families, futures. But they kept one thing, the choice to remember who they were. And that choice, made in absolute darkness with no hope of rescue, that choice echoes 500 years later. Because memory is rebellion. And rebellion, when it's rooted in truth, never dies. She pauses, looks at the thousands gathered. The Ottoman Empire ruled for 6 centuries. They built monuments that still stand. Palaces, mosques, fortresses. But none of those constructions will be remembered the way these 38 women are remembered, because they didn't build with stone. They built with truth, and truth once carved becomes indestructible. The memorial is visited by thousands every year. People leave flowers, light candles, write prayers on small papers and slip them between the stones. One visitor, an elderly Greek woman, brings her granddaughter. They stand before the names. "Why did they die, Yaya?" the girl asks. "They didn't die, my child. They just stopped breathing." But they never died, because we're still saying their names. The old woman touches Magdalena's name, whispers a prayer, and for a moment, just a moment, she swears she feels warmth in the stone, as if somewhere across 5 centuries, a 19-year-old girl is pressing her hand to the wall from the other side, remembering, being remembered. The documentary ends with footage of the chamber. The camera slowly pans across the carved walls, name after name, prayer after prayer. Stories scratched into stone by bleeding fingers in absolute darkness. The narrator's voice, quiet, reverent, speaks the final words. The Ottoman Empire erased kingdoms, rewrote histories, buried civilizations, but they could not erase 38 women who refused to forget. Those women carved a simple truth into stone, that memory is the greatest act of rebellion. That faith is not what you profess in public, but what you protect in private, and that even in hell, some lights refuse to die. The screen fades to black. Text appears. In memory of Eleni Callista, Magdalena, Anna, Sophia, Anastasia, and the 32 others whose names were carved in darkness and remembered in light. Lux in tenebris lucet, et tenebrae iam non comprehenderunt. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Final frame. A call to action. If you believe their names deserve to be remembered, share this story. And in the comments, write one name of someone you refuse to forget. Because memory is how we fight oblivion. The video ends, but the light they left behind, that light still shines. 5 centuries later, empires are dust. But 38 women carved into stone are eternal. Because the only thing more powerful than conquest is the quiet refusal to be erased.